Hello, good morning, welcome, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Jason Levine, aka Beetlejace. Thank you for joining me today on the Adobe Twitch channel for Audio 101 Part 17 podcast audio. So I've had a lot of requests over the last couple of weeks regarding how to record your voice for podcasts. A lot of questions around microphones. I've talked a lot about this during this Audio 101 series. So I thought I'd actually do that today and just kind of do something specific around just recording voice and actually let you hear a couple of the different options, whether you're using condenser microphones, dynamic microphones, or USB-based headset type microphones, which can be any variety of sound, right? And as I've said many times on the stream, much like in Harry Potter where the wand chooses the wizard, the microphone generally, it chooses the voiceover artist. In other words, not every mic is going to sound good on every voice. Every mic will sound different on every voice. Even the same brand of microphone or the same model of microphone, if you've got multiple ones of them, they can sound different on the same voice. So first and foremost, it's a matter of picking the right mic for you that really works, that accentuates the good parts, and hopefully doesn't accentuate the bad parts, if there are any. And from there, it's a lot of subtle, careful processing and little things you can do just to make it sound better. And I'll show you a couple little standard tips that we've shown in several other Audio 101s, just to make your voice sound a little bit bigger, a little bit thicker, maybe a little brighter, maybe a little punchier, and then ultimately very even, right? So we're going to squeeze out all the dynamics via compression and limiting, but that's what you want in a podcast, right? If you have too many dips in volume or amplitude, people will lose interest. So you don't want them to, to use an old phrase, turn that dial. You want them to stay listening. So having your audio consistently loud, consistently present is kind of key to good podcast voiceover. Oh, James, well, that's very nice. Well, it does help to have pipes. And as I've said many times, that's actually a really good comment. This is something that people ask me all the time. Now, this happens to be my voice. It is what it is. You can't introduce gravel or grit or grumble if it's not there. You can fake things, again, to thicken, to fatten, to widen, to brighten. You can dirty it up with effects and distortions and things. But if the sound you're going for is that, movie announcer type thing, or, VOG, as it's often referred to if you're in a theater and they do the announcements, 10 minutes until showtime, but it's always 10 minutes until showtime. If that's not in you, there's no way to post-produce it, really. So, again, part of that is careful mic selection. So we're going to start by actually recording a little bit, and then we'll sort of take it from the recording steps and go into processing and delivery. And as I mentioned, the first step, of course, is actually choosing your mic. So the first one that we'll record with live here is the one that I'm actually speaking on. Now, I've shown this many times. I actually swapped out my mic for today because I have another one being used elsewhere. So this is actually, this is not my typical voiceover mic. This is sort of the B version. Okay, so this is an Audio-Technica 4030. Now, this isn't too unlike the AT2020, which I've talked about and recommended on here for kind of an inexpensive, if you want to go into the condenser microphone route, it's a good choice, the AT2020. They also make a USB version. This is the AT4030. It's a single pattern, so it's cardioid condenser. It's got a bass roll-off at 80 hertz. It's got a 10 dB pad, which allows it to accept higher sound pressure levels. It's a large format, large diaphragm condenser, so it's going to have a very crisp, very bright, very present sound, excellent frequency response. And this mic and its older brother, the 4050, which is a multi-pattern condenser, that's my everything mic. These are kind of the brands that work best for me. Now, again, not all of these flavors work great for me. This one happens to. So we're going to start with this. And again, this is a condenser microphone. So a couple characteristics of condenser microphones in general. Condensers will be brighter. They're going to have more presence, more clarity, as opposed to a dynamic microphone, just by nature. You turn on a condenser microphone, it's just going to sound a little bit crisper, a little bit more present, a little bit more If you think about in terms of imagery, as if you had a clarity slider, the clarity on a condenser is automatically raised. That's just by nature. And that's why it's so good for voice. That's why they use condenser microphones for things like cymbals and flutes and other instruments that have a lot of high-end presence that you want to capture and capture carefully. Now, with that, of course, there's one other consideration, which is that condenser microphones need to be powered. Many more inexpensive condenser microphones will often have a battery, AA, AAA battery, that powers the element that powers the diaphragm that allows you to speak into that condenser. Sometimes on your audio devices, if you're using a third-party USB, Thunderbolt, Firewire device, you'll see you have something 48V, right? That's called your phantom power. That same function can also power any condenser microphone with or without a battery. So you need some way to power them. So if your sound card doesn't have phantom power, right? Let's say you've got a little M box or something, and I think actually all of them have them now. But if your external device doesn't have phantom power, also known as plus 48V, and you buy a condenser, you're going to need some way to power it to get sound into your sound card. So keep that in mind. I'm using a Focusrite device here. It has phantom power on all channels, so we're good to go. So let's do a little recording first, and then we're going to switch over to a dynamic mic. All right, so let's start doing a little recording here. So I'm actually going to track these first few. We're going to make a new multi-track session here just because I've got my dynamic and my condenser plugged into this Focusrite together. So it's just easier to record them in a multi-track session, and you'll see why in a minute here. You could also just record these directly into the waveform view that you see here. So we'll call this podcast VO records. I'm going to place this on the desktop. Oddcast, that's appropriately named. Sample rate. Well, people ask me this all the time. You know, I record everything at 48. I work a lot in video, so that's why I use 48. 48 over 44.1, which is the CD standard, you know. It's a little bit brighter, it's a little crispier, it just sounds a little better, and pretty much every source accepts 48. Now, that being said, if you're going out specifically to things like iTunes, Spotify, that music is played out at 44. But if you're going to be doing a lot of processing, it doesn't hurt to record at 48 and then do a sample rate conversion at the end, and I'll show you that. Also, if you just want to record in 44.1 and not have to worry about sample rate conversion, you can do that too. It really doesn't matter. Do you need to record podcast voiceover recording at 96K? Well, my recommendation is no, you don't. Not for just voice. It's not going to buy you anything. It's really not going to sound any better. And let me just put it this way. No one will say, oh my God, that sounds so much better than 44. When it's just voice listening over iTunes or Spotify or your, iDevice speaker. No one will say this. It's not worth the extra size of your files. If you're recording a band, you got, multi-track music, different story. But for solo voice, it doesn't really matter. So I use 48. You can use 44.1. Don't use anything lower than that. That's an absolute. Do not record your voice, your podcast in 32 or 22K. Don't do that. Those are sub non-standard sample rates for today. The main thing that you want, however, to make sure that you are doing when you're recording is you want to record above 16-bit if you're going to be doing a lot of processing. It's not that you can't. It's just that with 16-bit, you're limiting your dynamic range, which also means that you're limiting the amount of processing that you can do before there's some kind of sonic degradation. So do not record at 16 unless it's just a quick record and deliver. If that's the case, fine. If you're not going to be processing in any way, 16-bit is legit. But if you're going to be doing any kind of processing, compression, limiting, EQ, work in 32-bit float, or at least 24-bit, all of your DAWs, whether it's Audition, Logic, Pro Tools, will all work in 32-bit float or 24-bit. You can choose. So let's go ahead and click OK. We've got our new multi-track session here. We'll call this one Condenser. Condenser. And we'll call this Dynamic. I'll probably have to, it might let me, I'll see. USB headset. Okay, so we're going to record a couple different variations here so that you can hear and see the differences too. Well, you're not really going to see much of a difference, but you'll hear some differences. Now, the other thing to keep in mind when you're recording podcast audio is that obviously the environment you're in makes a big difference too. Now, I've got a lot of fans going here, including one above my head, hard drives and things. You also see there's a lot of soundproofing around me, behind me. It's actually all strewn across the room. I've got a whole wall of mounted things right over here that you can see. Okay, it's just a wall of soundproofed wall right there. So treating your environment matters too. It will affect the sound as it's recorded. It's going to make, the cleaner your sound, the more you're going to be able to do in processing without adversely affecting the recording. So environment matters. Not that I haven't recorded things in a noisy room and delivered them. I absolutely 100% have, including vocals, which are now on Spotify on various recordings of my own. As long as your noise is kind of somewhat tame and consistent, it can easily be attenuated or removed entirely. And sometimes it's not that big of a deal. The things you want to keep in mind are if you've got, landscapers making a bunch of zzz kind of noise and things like that, probably don't record during that time. It's just going to be painful to try and remove it, and that will adversely affect your sound. Let's go ahead and make a new track. Oh, and actually, you know what? I realize this is a stereo track. These are by default. So I'm going to add mono tracks. Now, this is something which I get asked a lot, too. Should I record my voice in stereo or mono? So the answer is, well, one, there's no absolute, but it's usually going to be determined by how your operating system and or how your DAW sees inputs. And what I mean by that is, in the case of this Focusrite, I'm on a mono track here. I've got 20 mono inputs. So, mono mic, one microphone, one signal, one voice, one track, mono. That's it. No reason to record in stereo. Now, if you're using an onboard microphone, a lot of systems will sometimes populate channels 1 and 2 with a mono signal, leaving you with effectively a stereo file. It's the same audio in left and right, or channels 1 and 2. However, more commonly, if you try and record stereo, especially with an onboard device, and you've only got something plugged into channel 1, you're only going to get signal in the left ear, and you're going to get silence and or bleed or out of phase mess on the right side. So you don't want that. Granted, yes, you can separate it out, you can split out the tracks into mono and do all this stuff afterwards. If you just recorded in mono in the first place, that wouldn't happen. So if your sound card allows for it, you want to be able to choose the discrete input that it's going into. In this case, it's input number 6. You can see we've got some nice level here. I'm not going to go into leveling and gain staging. I've talked about that in earlier episodes, in the first, actually, episode of how to record your voice. You'll want to make sure that your mic levels are appropriate, that they're properly gain staged, so you're getting the best signal-to-noise ratio with the most amount of signal going into the track with no distortion and hopefully no clipping. Now that we've done this, let's go ahead and just record a little something. And here, I was going to try and find something to say, which I can use over and over again. I'm just going to read. This is from, I had to use a lavalier mic earlier this week, and I was using my AT831B. I'm a big fan of Audio Technicals. I think I happen to really like their sound. So I'm going to read a little bit of this. This will be what I say for each one of these microphones. All right, so here we go. Let's rock it. Hi, this is Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the Audio-Technica 831B Mini... Whoops. Hi, this is Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT831B Miniature Cardioid Condenser Microphone. Okay, so there we go. That's fine. Let's go ahead and just take a quick listen to this. Hi, this is Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT831B Miniature Cardioid Condenser Microphone. Okay? Sounds fine. Now again, just for cleanup purposes, I can get rid of that aborted take. All right? And it's also a good idea. I like to also just listen inside the waveform view. This is going to allow you to hear the actual recording at the level it was recorded at. You can see very clearly here on the level meters, everything is good. Looks like our loudest peak is somewhere around -6-ish or so. Actually, looks no, even more, about -4. We can also run amplitude statistics on this. We're going to do a lot of this stuff later anyway. But we're totally okay. Like, no clipped samples. Peak amplitude is legit. Okay. Loudness is all fine. And curiously, if we were going out to broadcast right now, untouched, right? So if I needed to deliver this voiceover right now for Olympics in Rio at -24 LUFS, this is within legal limits for broadcasting in both the EBU and the ITU here in the US and Canada. And that also falls within range in Japan and other parts of the world as well. So, okay, so just take a quick listen to this again. Hi, this is Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone. Okay, so that is the condenser recording using the AT4030 here. Okay, again, cardioid condenser, single pattern. My other typical microphone is the multi-pattern condenser. All right, so let's wind back. We're going to mute this, and now we're going to go into the dynamic microphone. So the dynamic microphone that I have chosen to showcase for you today is possibly the most classic dynamic mic of all. I don't know if you can read that on the via the camera there. This is the Shure SM58. You can rest assured that pretty much, well, any studio in the world, I'm going to say that, any studio in the world is going to have at least one of these, or its brother, the SM57, which, by the way, I'm going to show you a little trick in a second here. This is a classic standard dynamic microphone. It has the built-in windscreen on here, so this helps for things like plosives and stuff like that. It's durable as anything. So one thing to also keep in mind with condenser microphones, they need to be powered. They're sensitive. They're sensitive to sound. That's why they have this brighter, crispier kind of delivery. However, they're also physically more sensitive. If you drop a condenser microphone without it in some kind of shock mount or something, very good, 50% chance it might break. Very good chance. Or something will come loose and it just won't work. You can see if you just look again here, getting busy. This is what we call a spider shock mount, right? Required for this kind of condenser, this kind of large diaphragm condenser. This one, which uses the standard mic clip that you've seen, you can get it pretty much at any audio store. These things are stage mics as well. They're studio and stage. So they can be thrown around. Yes, you can throw this. You can drop it. It can fall. It can be miking an amp and someone crashes into it and it smashes on the stage. I'm not going to say they're indestructible. They are very hard to destroy. That's part of their longevity. And I mean that as a microphone in the scene. Also, these microphones in particular, the SM58, it's about $100 US. They've been around forever. The price has never really changed. And they're very multi-purpose. They can be used for voice. They can be used for instruments. The other thing that they're good for with regarding podcast audio or similar dynamic mics, and one of the older brothers of this Shure is something that I like called the SM7, which I also have here. They have what's known as proximity effect, which is common in dynamic microphones, which means that the closer you get to it, it's going to accentuate the bass frequencies. It's going to accentuate the low end. And again, depending upon the type of voice that you have, you might need a little artificial pumping up of that bass, of those kind of bass frequencies. And when you hear someone say, like, you got to eat the mic, like the condensers, you don't want to get right on top of them. Again, you've got this moving diaphragm, very easy to distort. Dynamic microphones, however, you can really get right on top of it. And you'll very commonly see singers like, that's because you kind of need to do that with this. You kind of need to like eat that mic. And the closer you get, the more it's going to accentuate a lot of those bass frequencies. So let's go ahead and I don't think I really need to do much here because I've got everything routed. So this is coming in on input 5. Okay, looks very good. Now, hold on one second here. Now, I'm actually not, I'm monitoring this, and you can hear me, and there's a slight, I think I have my buffers set to around either 128 or 64 milliseconds, which is fine. I'm going to get right up on this. Now, again, that's a little hot, so I need to make a little careful little adjustment here. Something like this. Okay, so let's go ahead and read the same passage again. And here we go. Hi, I'm Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone. All right. Now, what's interesting too is, you can look at the waveforms and you can see my timing and everything is very, very similar, right? The pacing, even if you look here, right? Like this little pause that I said right before I said whatever this is. Cardioid condenser microphone. You can see the waveform. Look at this and look at this, right? Very similar. My timing is almost exact, and that's just because I do a lot of voiceovers. So as you do more and more of these, you find your sort of consistent sound, your consistent voice, but really what's going to make it different is the microphone that you're on. So let's take a listen to these now that we've got these two in here. And we've got one more to record, and then we're going to start on processing. Hi, I'm Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone. Okay, now I don't know if you're in a quiet listening environment, you can probably hear it. Already, this is a different sound, right? Let's go ahead and mute this. Let's put this other one back in. This is the condenser. Take a quick listen to this. Hi, this is Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone. Condenser. You can really hear it's just cleaner, right? And you can hear it much better in this view. Hi, this is Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Okay, and here's the dynamic mic. Hi, I'm Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT8. Right? So you can hear it, right? You can hear that the dynamic microphone, it's a little darker. Because I was eating it there, it's a little bassier. I've got a little bit of air. We can fix that with some FFT filter if needed. Nothing that was causing any sort of distortions. It actually sounds a bit more broadcasty because that's kind of the standard. Because again, these things are indestructible and it's a go-to. And pretty much you can EQ this to sound good on basically anybody or anything. That's kind of why these things are so awesome. Now, the other thing to keep in mind about this dynamic mic in particular, I've seen me do this before, and I talk about this a lot. And I mentioned its brother, the SM57, and there's not enough contrast here. Black mic, and I've got this whole black soundproofed background. If you take the windscreen off, this now becomes an SM57, basically. So you can use this. Again, this is why this is great for instrument miking, amp miking, very commonly encountered. I love the 50, and I've got 57s as well, but this just sort of does it. When I mic my bass amp over there, I've got a couple of different mics that I like to use. At the end of the day, the 58 with the windscreen taken off, I love this sound on that amp. Got a gazillion other mics to choose from. This is the one I go to. It gives me the sound I want. So you can do that as well. Okay. All right. So as mentioned, you can hear the dynamic mic, not as crisp, not as bright, a little bassier, a little boomier, but bassier in a different way, right? It's that proximity effect bass versus the condenser, which just really preserves all of those low-end harmonics, very, very defined, right? So you've got very defined low-end. The dynamic one, it's just kind of a little overall bigger, bassier, different sound. And the last one that I want to record with is this one here, and this is an old Plantronics headset mic of mine, which I used to use for Adobe TV and training videos and other things. I've actually used it, I think, a few times on Twitch here early on when I was just starting to do Twitch. And while this one is fairly old, these kinds of microphones are commonly encountered. So, and they're used a lot. And they can sound good, but again, they too will have their own particular kind of sound. So whereas the condensers tend to be a bit, they're sort of the best of all worlds in that they're crisp, they're bright, they can preserve any low end that you have, it'll capture it, it's there, you can EQ it and pull it out. But they're sensitive, they require power, they're also generally more expensive. Dynamic microphones, virtually indestructible. You can make them sound pretty decent on any voice. They will, quote unquote, suffer from proximity effect, but this can be a good thing if you want to kind of on input amplify and accentuate bass in someone's voice, even if there isn't any. But again, they're a little flatter, they're not quite as bright, they're not quite as present. They're not going to give you any kind of sparkle or shimmer. They can also hide things too, which can be nice. And then you've got this style USB. Now, a lot of these headset mics, some of them are condensers, some of them are dynamic. The main difference here with this one being USB is that the analog to digital conversion is happening here, and it's happening through the OS. So there's this isn't going through any additional box, this microphone and everything. It's just an all-in-one. Like I said, you see some of these Audio-Technica condensers have USB versions. They're going to sound a little bit different. They're going to sound a little bit different because where that ADDA happens ultimately affects that sound too. So let me see if I can just switch the, I think I should be able to switch my recording device here. Okay. This should be okay. I think we're going to be good. I'm going to go for it. Nice. Yeah, we got it. Okay. So hold on. Let me take off my headset. By the way, if you are using one of these microphones and you are testing them for real, you want to put them on and test them. Don't I've seen people just kind of pick it up and try and do it. You want to wear it how you're going to wear it and speak how you're going to speak so that it can pick up your sound. Also, if you've got hair and stuff in the way, not everyone has this problem, obviously, but make sure that stuff's out of there because these things can be a little sensitive at times. Okay, so let's do, hopefully this is going to record well. We'll see what happens. Okay, looks all right. And here we go. Hi, this is Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone. Hi, this is Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone. Okay. Now that hi looks like it got kind of hot both times, although it doesn't appear to have clipped. Again, these things can be kind of sensitive, so let me take this off. Let's go back, change our settings here. You might lose my sound for just a second. It will come back. All right, here we go.
Hi, this is Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone.
All right, so right away, without even going into the edit view, you can hear that there's a fundamental difference. Now, if I just take a look at this real quickly, even though it wasn't showing me that I was clipping, so look at that. It was actually at 0, but there are some clipped samples. So we can do a couple of quick things to fix this. This is a good technique for anybody. If you go into the diagnostics panel here under the window menu, you can very quickly, even though it shows it's at 0, but there's like 13 clipped samples, and it's all confined to this little section right here. If we just go into our declipper and restore lightly clipped, go ahead and scan it. It actually found 15 problems. Go ahead and repair all. And it does just that. It'll attenuate and fixes it.
Hi, this is Jason
Okay.
Levine.
Cool. So, again, let's take a quick listen to this.
Hi, this is Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone.
Okay. So that's the USB. Let's go ahead and listen to the dynamic microphone.
Hi, I'm Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production.
And now let's listen to the condenser microphone.
Hi, this is Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone.
Okay. Are you starting to hear the sound differences? Obvious differences. Now, again, how you treat and process these will be a little bit different too. So for the last 20 minutes, we're going to basically spend some time on working on each of these different recordings and trying to make them the best that we can. So I think we're going to go with this take 2. Let's go ahead and get rid of take 1 over here. All right, just like that. And I'm just cleaning up the files. This is just for me. Let's go back into the multitrack here. I'm just going to save this with the changes. Okay, so condenser. Now again, we could process these in the multitrack view or in the waveform view. Because we're working only with a single track, a single piece of audio, I'm going to do everything here in the editor, and we can stack the effects that we need in the effects rack here. This is the one. This is the condenser file right here.
Hi, this is Jason Levine.
All right, and then here's the dynamic.
Hi, I'm Jason Levine.
And then here's the USB.
Hi, this is Jason Levine. And
Okay. So again, not all USB microphones are going to sound like that. Absolutely not. Not all headset mics will sound like that. However, a lot of them do. And if you've been even watching some of the Olympics stuff, now again, they've got higher quality, better, Audio-Technica, AKG. A lot of people make headset mics. Most of them are condensers. Some of them kind of, though, they tend to have a bit more of a mid-range boost because they're used kind of in live situations or in situations where people are moving and turning. Accuracy isn't so much the key as just kind of consistent mid-range presence. The mid-range is where most of the fundamentals of most voices, or of all voices really, live anyway. All right? The human voice resonates primarily in the mid-range. So by accentuating the mid-range, what does that mean? It means that people are going to hear and intelligibly understand your podcast. All right? So it's a convenience, but, with a little trade-off.
Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production.
Okay, so let's start with the condenser here. Now, again, for typical processing, what I would do is a little bit of compression, a little bit of EQ, and then some limiting at the end to really make it pop. So if we take a listen here, let's go ahead and I'm just going to work with our native EQs for this. I always typically will use third-party ones, but just to kind of keep it simple, let's start with a parametric equalizer.
Hi, this is Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production.
Now, I'm hearing a little bit of the room in there, so I might want to take some of that out. So I know it's going to be somewhere in the 300 to 600 hertz range. So I'm just going to start listening and just EQing this. So pay attention as I'm working on this. This is going to vary between where you're recording, how you're recording, if you're using any kind of soundproofing. Sometimes the room is nice. I'm just hearing a little bit too much. I'm actually going to disable my mic for just a moment while I'm working on this.
Today we're talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone. Hi, this is Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone. Hi, this is Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone. Hi, this is Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone. Hi, this is Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone. Hi, this is Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone. Hi, this is Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone. Hi, this is Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone.
Okay, so very quickly there, you can see I gave it a little bit of a boost around 100 hertz just to add a little bit more low-end warmth, a little more punch. Very, very narrow Q. So again, it's not affecting a lot of the adjacent frequencies there. It's not going to get muddy suddenly. If we wanted to do mud, we'd probably focus more on the 200 to 300 range. Not going there, just focusing a little bit on 100. I could probably even go a little bit lower, but it's fine. Again, for podcasts, you don't need a lot of sub-bass on the voiceover delivery here. That room ambience that I didn't love, which is really more of the fans causing this weird ambience in here, was right around 500 hertz. So I'm pulling out about 3 dB of that with a fairly narrow Q of 4.4. Gave myself a little bit of a presence boost here at around 7K. Now this area can be a little tricky. You got to be careful not to accentuate sibilance. Sibilance typically is going to fall between 5,500 and 6,300 hertz. So we're above that, but by giving it a little bit of a lift around 7 or 8K, it's just going to make it, it's going to give you a little bit more presence. And then I just wanted to add just a touch of high-end shimmer, right? Just to kind of give it a little bit of a lift, a little bit more air. And that's where I'm using 0.6 plus 0.6 at 12K. So we can start with this off before.
Hi, this is Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production.
And let's kick it in. Here's the after.
Hi, this is Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production.
Now you're still hearing the room behind me, so you're going, huh, sounds kind of the same. It's a little subtle, but you get the idea. A little bit brighter, a little bit cleaner, took a little bit more of the room out. And now when we start to add more effects to this, that's where it's really going to make a difference. So I've got the EQ down. I like that. Okay. So let's go into our tube model compressor. Now this can be any type of compressor. Compression is going to give you a little bit more thickness. It's going to make it just a little bit more even, a little bit bigger. And we're just going to compress here. We're not going to limit because we're going to use limiter at the end to really make everything punch, all right? So let's start with a ratio. Let's do a ratio of about 5:1. Anywhere from, it depends on the voiceover delivery. Again, this is fairly even dynamically. There's maybe, outside of the hi, my first little hello, there's about a 4 to 6 decibel difference in general in dynamic. So I'm going to use a ratio of around 5:1. We'll use a fairly quick attack. Let's use like a 9 millisecond attack here. And then we'll use kind of a standard, fairly fast release of around 79. Let's go ahead and adjust our threshold as we play. Oh, and let's set our gain to 0 here to start. And let's go ahead and play this back and hear what we have.
Hi, this is Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone. Hi, this is Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone. Hi, this is Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone. Hi, this is Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone. Hi, this is Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone. Hi, this is Jason Levine.
Okay. Now you might be thinking to yourself, wow, that's really irritating having to loop that back and compress it. It can be. That's what audio processing is all about. Looping. So that sounds pretty good to me. And if you heard sort of the before and after, sonically, the volumes are the same. I'm not giving it a lot of gain here. I'm just using this to control the dynamics to even things out. Because again, the real gain is going to come when we add the limiter circuitry. So we've done a little bit of equalization. We've done a little bit of compression. Now I'm going to add some limiter, and once again I'll use one of our standard ones here. I'll go to something like the multiband compressor. Now, you can go to a setting like the broadcast setting here. The issue is I don't really need multiband compression for the voiceover. So a lot of times I'll actually bypass all of the compression bands because I really don't need them. What I do like in here, however, is the limiter circuit, okay, the brick wall limiter. And this is the most important thing that we're going to focus on here. And what you want to make sure if you use the multiband compressor on anything is that you have the brick wall limiter enabled, and then you want to set your margin carefully. Now again, for podcasts, when we're talking about sort of loudness delivery, loudness versus peak levels are two different things. And while the sort of standard delivery for your podcast audio overall is around -16 LUFS, that doesn't mean that your initial voiceover can't peak a little bit louder. You don't want it peaking at -0.1, however. So I'll typically do a standard voice at around -2, and then you're going to set this threshold here to add loudness. So if I just play this back right now, just to see if it's even hitting any of these thresholds with the broadcast compression.
Hi, this is Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast.
Yeah, I mean,
and
it's
Production.
touching
Today
some
we're
of
talking
these.
about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone. Hi, this is Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast.
I don't know if I really need any of the compression there. I've already done it with the tube model compressor. So I'm going to bypass those, but now watch what happens with my margin at -2. I'm going to start adjusting the threshold, and you'll see it's going to start getting louder, but it's never going to go above that -2 dB range.
Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone. Hi, this is Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone.
Okay. Now, again, this is bringing up a lot of my room ambience right here. I could spend time denoising that. I've done denoising in other lessons. I can't help that my room is a little noisy today. So we're not going to focus on the noise reduction. You can go to episode 3 or 4, spectral noise reduction, and figure out how to remove that. Again, point being, though, if you're not in a quiet environment, when you start EQing, compressing, and limiting, you're doing all of that to everything in the room around you. So clean, good environment is really the first place to start. But now that we've got all these effects applied, and we're going to tackle the dynamic one quickly next, let's just take a listen first with everything off.
Hi, this is Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser
Now let's turn it on.
microphone. Hi, this is Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT831B
All right, start.
Hi, this is Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone.
Okay, and when we process this, boom, very nice, very big, very even. It looks like we got one little
Cardioid.
that one little transient peak kind of snuck through. So one thing that you can do, as I've shown many times, is you can actually go in here, select that single transient right there, and just drop that down so that it's in range with everything else. So that way now we have the ability to normalize this to make it really, really big, really, really present. All right. Now without processing that, we're just going to leave everything live very quickly, but you can definitely hear a nice, clear difference, and you can even see it in the waveform. After processing, it's very even, it's very present, it's crisp, it's loud, it's got the right amount of bass. It just works. Now the dynamic one here, we're going to have to work a little bit more. So let's start by going to our parametric. We'll do a full reset. I'm going to highlight the section here so I can just repeat this. And I'm going to mute my mic as well so that we can work on this a little bit more carefully.
Hi, I'm Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone. Hi, I'm Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone. Hi, I'm Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone. Hi, I'm Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone. Hi, I'm Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone. Hi, I'm Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone. Hi, I'm Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone. Hi, I'm Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone. Hi, I'm Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone.
Okay, again, a little more, we've got some subtle changes, but you can definitely hear pulling out a little bit of that. Here, this was accentuating something around 400 hertz. You can hear it actually ringing when I boosted that. So I wanted to pull some of that out, again, a very narrow Q of 8.6. Gave it a little bit more of the low end boost, even below 100 this time, just to kind of warm things up. 3K, a boost at around 5 dB. And in this time, on this mic, around 8K is where I was getting some of that, a bit more of that presence. Again, in that 6-7K range, it didn't sound very good. And you'll notice that when I tried to increase it around 12, 13, it got kind of brittle. So you want to be careful there. Now, the only other thing that's in this, which because I was eating it on purpose to try and accentuate proximity effect, we've got some kind of wind noise things that I don't love.
Hi, I'm Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production.
So that broadcast right there, you can actually see it.
Broadcast and cast.
Okay. So that had like a huge burst of air right there that caused that weirdness to happen. So to get rid of those things, filter, EQ, FFT filter, preset, kill the mic rumble, apply, like that.
Broadcast and Production.
It just softens it a little bit, and if you've got a real plosive, it'll take the entire plosive out.
Today we're talking about the
Didn't like that either. Repeat last command, apply.
Talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone.
Okay, fine. All right, let's go into our tube modeled compressor here. The compressor is going to handle some of that. We're going to do the same thing. Let's start with our gain at 0. Let's do our ratio of around 6:1 for this. We'll compress this one a little bit more. Attack. Want this to kick in actually very quickly, so let's go with like a 3 millisecond attack on this. And same thing, let's do about a 79 millisecond release. Okay, let's wind this back, start playing with our threshold. Here we go.
Hi, I'm Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone.
Oops, sorry.
Hi, I'm Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone. Hi, I'm Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone. Hi, I'm Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone.
Okay, and already you can hear that it sounds very evened out, right? And it definitely sounds like Sportscaster, okay? Sportscaster, dynamics. Now, I accentuated that proximity effect, so there's a bit of that in there. But again, if you don't overdo it, it'll be a little bit less. It's still going to sound kind of similar, okay? So you can affect some of that with compression and take advantage of it, and it kind of makes it sound a little bit more live. Again, a little bit thicker, a little bit bassier, and the compressor here is just going to even out some of those dynamics. And then the very last thing that we'll do is, again, some limiting. Now, people have asked, why don't you just use the hard limiter? You can do that as well, and maybe we'll try that on this one this time around. So the hard limiter is not unlike the brick wall limiter that's in the multiband compressor. The only real difference is that one is specifically a tube-modeled brick wall limiter, meaning that it has a kind of analog tube characteristic in the way that it limits the sound and the way that it actually sounds, right? It has this kind of tube distortion characteristic, whereas the hard limiter does not, although, to be honest, this one, for my ears, tends to sound very analog at times and actually quite nice. So the same thing, we'll set our maximum amplitude of -2. Let's set our input boost. We'll start it at 0, and we're going to leave the look ahead, which is basically like a digital attack time, and your release. We're going to leave those at the defaults, and let's just start increasing the input here.
Hi, I'm Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone.
All right, and again, without any effort, all of a sudden it just sounds radio ready, right? So here's without any effects.
Hi, I'm Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production.
And here it is with effects.
Hi, I'm Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone.
Okay, and you can really hear at the end there.
Condenser microphone. Condenser microphone.
All right, so before.
Condenser microphone. Condenser microphone. Condenser microphone.
All right, all that stuff is there. We're just accentuating a little bit of it with EQ and compression.
Condenser microphone.
Okay, and again, this mic, you really feel that, right? You feel that low end warmth. There's a different feeling to the low end warmth on the condenser, right? So this one sounds good. We're done. All right, so here we are with the USB flavor. Now this one's going to be a little bit trickier. So once again, we'll start with the parametric equalizer. I will mute my microphone, and we will begin equalizing. Oh, and let me just start clean, full reset. Okay. All right, we're going to play this back and EQ it. Here we go.
Hi, this is Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone. Hi, this is Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone. Hi, this is Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone. Hi, this is Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone. Hi, this is Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone. Hi, this is Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone. Hi, this is Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone. Hi, this is Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone. Hi, this is Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone. Hi, this is Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone. Hi, this is Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone.
Hi, this is Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone.
Do they torture people by making them listen to things on repeat like that? Sometimes. Okay, now again, this one, we've only got what we were able to capture. There's a little inherent distortion there in the capture, even though we didn't have any distorted samples. It's a little crunchier, it's a little more mid-rangey, it's a little more telephone-like. That's the sound. But if we listen to the before...
Hi, this is Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production.
Versus the after...
Hi, this is Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production.
We're trying to get this into a sort of better place, so once we start adding the compression, again, it's going to kind of glue and even out and smooth out some of those rough edges. That's something that I talked about a lot in the Audio 101 on compression and limiting, is again, the ability of a compressor to not only even dynamics, but to really glue things together and to take the edge off a lot. So you can definitely use that here to do just that. We're going to go a little bit more aggressive with our ratio. Let's start our gain again at 0. Let's back this off. Attack time, let's make it 3 milliseconds. And we'll do the same 79 millisecond release on this. All right. Now, the reason I kept the EQ up here is I might want to back off a little bit of that low end that I boosted to give it a little bit more warmth. But we shall see. All right. Let's take a listen with compression.
Today we're talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone. Hi, this is Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone. Hi, this is Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone. Hi, this is Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone. Hi, this is Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the
Little crispy at that
AT831B
8K.
miniature cardioid condenser microphone. Hi, this is Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone. Hi, this is Jason Levine, and welcome
Changing
to
this to
Broadcast
around
and
1K.
Production. Today we're talking about the...
Okay. So we've got the compression, we've got the EQ in there. Let's go ahead and grab... This time I'll go with the multiband. I want to take advantage of the tube-modeled nature of this. And let's go up to around -2 there.
The AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone. Hi, this is Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone. Hi, this is Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone.
Okay. So now you can very clearly see the differences and hear the differences. Here's our condenser.
Hi, this is Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone.
Here is the dynamic microphone.
Hi, I'm Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production. Today we're talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone.
And here is the USB.
Hi, this is Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production.
Which, by the way, is just a headset mic. It's not indicative of USB. Just saying, it's a headset mic.
Today we're talking about the AT831B miniature cardioid condenser microphone.
Now that one almost sounds like it was recorded at a different bit depth, right? I mean, it just has such a different characteristic, but they all will. All microphones will, and that's why you must test them out, all right? So that's effectively it, my friends. Now, again, it's really a combination of EQ, compression, and limiting to fatten up that sound. Now, when you're going to prepare your final versions, let's just assume that let's go ahead and apply all of these. All right, I'm going to apply the effects to all of these. All right, let's go to our condenser here and apply those. And I'm going to pop open the match loudness panel for a moment here. And I'm doing this is kind of the final step. The reason I pulled this up is to showcase to you what it's giving you as far as the broadcast loudness is concerned. Now, when you go into softwares that are used for like publishing your podcast audio with metadata, you can do it, of course, through our metadata panel here in Audition. They're going to recommend a loudness level for you for delivery. And you'll notice that, and I did this kind of with a good idea of how much gain I was adding, the dynamic one, which for my money sounds the best in this scenario, is around -17. You've got the USB and the condenser around -20. So the standard kind of delivery loudness for podcasts is between -16, -18. So without even doing any additional work here, these are pretty much all within range. Now, if we wanted to say, I want all of these to conform to -16 LUFS or -16 RMS, you can do that. Oh, in this panel, you can't see it there. You can do it by saying match to, and you could go to something like the ITU loudness, and you can say match to a target of -16. Okay? Zoom back out here. Run this. And now it will do just that. It will adjust all of your files to automatically make them conform to that loudness standard, so that when you deliver this to wherever it is that you're delivering to, you'll know that it falls within the suggested loudness limits. So the match loudness panel can be very helpful here for adding or for that matter, attenuating the signals before you deliver them. Also, under the window menu here, this is where you can access the metadata panel to add some of the podcast metadata. Now, this is the ID3 V2 tags. Again, there's some other software and things that people use. Now, I don't produce podcasts myself, but I know there's other software you can add additional metadata and things. But remember that we have basically every metadata standard in here, particularly based around broadcast, including your broadcast wave metadata, RIF, CART, and then XMP, which houses all of the metadata schemas that we support across all of the digital video and audio apps in the Adobe applications. So lots of different ways to add that metadata in there. And that's basically it, right? You know, podcast, choosing the microphone, right? Going with a condenser, going with a dynamic, going with a headset style, which can be dynamic or condenser. Remember that if you've got condenser, you need phantom power. Dynamics, you don't. Plug and play. USB, plug and play. But you want to be careful. Make sure that you've got sort of some kind of channel configuration abilities or the ability to change the input signal. The room that you're recording in, very important, right? If you're doing podcast voiceover, it's got to be quiet. Otherwise, you're just going to spend time denoising. Not that you can't. We absolutely could. And again, if I went into something like this condenser one here, now I would have tackled this before I added compression and limiting. You can see there's something resonating here at like 1500 hertz. I don't know what that is. But I could come in here, say capture a noise print, go up to effects, noise reduction, process, select the entire file. Let's go ahead and just preview a little bit of this.
Hi, this is Jason Levine, and welcome.
That sounds pretty good. Those are the settings I was using the other day. And boom, now we've got this thing nice and clean. And if I got rid of my very loud breath at the end there, at the beginning right there.
Hi.
Let's get rid of this. Don't need that. Okay, just silence that. Okay. Now we play this back.
Hi, this is Jason Levine, and welcome to Broadcast and Production.
All the noise is gone. Very simple, very easy. And you can see, just represented here, very, very clean, whereas before, you can see all of that noise right there. Right? And if we do the repeat last command, you're not hearing anything, right? Total silence. Okay? Cool. All right. You wish you had match loudness when you're making films in Final Cut. Yeah, match loudness is genius. And again, we've consistently updated it over the last couple of versions of Audition. So now you'll see it conforms to the current, here in the US, ITU BS1770-3 standard. We've added EBU since then, and we've got ATSC in there as well. Thank you so much for joining me for episode 17 of Audio 101, podcast recording, choosing your mic, getting your EQ, getting your sound. We'll see you next time.